you are a pregnant mom nearing labor and delivery, and you're feeling anxious and afraid about the process. You don't know what's gonna happen and you're feeling so afraid, and at the same time you would want to experience a positive birth with minimal injuries, and so that you can actually be able to go back to an active postpartum life. So if this is you, then this video is for you. So my name is Nasteri. I have been a nurse working in the reproductive health space, in the mom and baby space, for about 10 years now. By the end of this video, you're going to learn why pregnant moms feel this anxiety and fears and what you should do about it. And before we go any further, I want you to check in the video description, because we do have a class where we help moms who are feeling anxious and afraid to overcome these fears and to step into that labor and delivery room feeling empowered and strong, and they are gonna experience, or they always experience, a positive birth because of the empowerment that you're gonna get. So click the link in the video description, and you're gonna have and you're gonna enjoy this positive birth experience with minimal injury. So without further ado, let us cover some of the frequently asked questions regarding labor fears, delivery fears, these things, and these are commonly asked questions. And the question number one is, what causes fear during labor and delivery? As a nurse who has worked a lot, who has delivered many babies, actually, I would say what causes these fears is fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen to you during labor. Are you going to injure yourself? Are you going to injure the baby? Is the baby going to come out normal, healthy? Are you going to suffer a lot of complications that come about during the labor and delivery process? Because yes, these complications do occur. So that is the core of these fears and anxiety. And if you can join this labor and birth prep class, we normally help array these fears so that you can step in knowing, how do I cooperate during the labor and delivery process to minimize these complications, to minimize these risks, to minimize these injuries, and also to avoid them altogether. So I would say the fear is what's going to happen to me and to the baby during this process. But if you would know what to do, what you need to do during these stages, during the first stage of labor, during the second stage, during the third stage, during the fourth stage, then you would not have these fears. You'd step in there feeling confident, because I'm supposed to do A, B, and C during this stage of labor. If it is during the pushing or the delivery, second stage of labor, that is, you will know what you're supposed to do, and so that you experience no injuries or very minimal injuries, and you're gonna experience a positive birth. And question number two, frequently asked question number two, is, what is the impact of fear on the labor experience, or what does this fear actually, how does it impact the labor process? So I've seen a lot of moms who during the labor, they are so afraid. You'll tell them, can you open up your legs so that I can examine you, and they are so tensed. You cannot even do a vaginal examination. You are not even able to check their level of dilatation, and you're not able to examine them properly. So this kind of fear, this kind of tension can actually impact the labor progress, actually make the labor even more painful, and can even prolong the labor, and this is not what we want. So if you are well prepared for labor and birth, that is for the labor and delivery, then you'd be able to know, why is the healthcare professional asking me to position myself this way, and when am I expecting the next examination, and what is being examined, and what are the results saying, what is the progress. You're going to be able to even enjoy the process and go through the process feeling empowered and strong. So this kind of fear, this kind of tension can actually prolong and even make the labor process quite painful and uncomfortable for you, and also for the healthcare team that are taking care of you. And I'm sure you've heard some midwives complain that the mother is very uncooperative, or you can hear them maybe complaining, "Mom, can you sit up properly? Can you lie down properly? I'm trying to position you well because of you're a baby and yourself, for your well-being." But you're not understanding, why is this healthcare professional so frustrated? It's because maybe you are not being cooperative in one way or another, and it isn't really not your fault. It's because you really don't know what to do during this stage of labor. So this can actually impact the labor progress in quite a huge way. and you ought to be prepared for this so that you can be cooperative and so that you can enjoy a positive birth experience. That question, what do most women fear? What do women fear most about labor and delivery? So most women fear the labor pain. The pain, it's quite intense, but if you know how to navigate through pain, if you know how to manage this pain, then it's going to be manageable and you're gonna go through it so seamlessly. I'm not saying it's not gonna be painful. Actually, there are some women who don't have to go through the natural pain because there's the pain medication. But if you prefer not to have pain medications, then definitely you can also be able to navigate through this pain quite seamlessly if you know the tactics and the strategies and the tips and hacks to go about this. So most women fear that pain. They fear complications. A lot of you don't like being examined. You don't like us examining you, and that is also another discomfort or something that you really don't like. And you also fear, a lot of moms fear, is my baby going to come out well, and is my baby going to score really well, and all of these are very valid fears. So I would say those are some of the things that women fear most. If you've been in labor, I want you to comment in this video and tell us what has been or what was your greatest fear during labor and delivery. I would like to hear that. And last but not least, most frequently asked question is, what are the risks? What are the risks of not addressing these fears? So if you go into labor and delivery and these fears has not been addressed, what are the risks? If you go into labor and these fears have not been addressed properly, definitely your stress levels are gonna be quite high. Definitely you're not going to be cooperative during labor. Definitely your labor outcome may not be, the birth experience may not be a positive one, because you may get into it, or you may suffer from injuries, you may suffer from complications because you didn't know how best to act, how best to behave during this whole entire labor process. The risk of not addressing this can lead to negative birth experiences, and I'm sure you've heard some women say, my birth process was so traumatic, and my birth process was so bad. I'm not saying that those women had not prepared themselves, but most of us go into labor unprepared. I've seen women come into labor ward even with their panties on, and this just shows us that this woman was not well informed about her labor and about the birth process, because you cannot come to deliver a baby and you are fully dressed. You have your panties and you're there and you don't want to be examined. All of this tell us that this mom doesn't know what labor and birthing entails. So there's a lot of things that go in as far as being prepared for labor and delivery is concerned, and I want you to go into labor and delivery prepared. So to array all these fears, all these anxieties, so that you can enjoy a positive birth experience, I want you to click in the link in the video description so that you can be on your way to being empowered, to enjoying a positive birth experience, because I know it is very, very possible. I've seen moms come in labor are so comfortably, quietly. They are going through their pain in an empowered way. They are breathing in quite well during the contractions. They are cooperating with the doctor quite well. They know what to do, what to expect during each stage of labor, and they come out with a really beautiful birthing story. So I would want to tell you that your birth is not just an event, it is a story that you can create. Are you gonna create it in a negative way, or are you gonna create it in a positive way, that is through empowerment? So sign up for this amazing empowering classic and enjoy a positive birth experience.